Well, here we are again, September the 27th, 2019. Uh, about 10 minutes to 8 o'clock at night. Just been listening to a guy on YouTube. I've been listening to him quite a bit, actually. He's an Englishman named Derek Prince. He's worth listening to. He's no longer alive, but he has many YouTube videos. He's a preacher. Used to be in the British Army, went to universities and had all kinds of degrees and stuff. He turned out to be just a preacher, preaching in Africa and all over. I think he was living in the United States at the end. Very, very precise kind of speaker, and very good, easy to listen to because he can carry a idea from one beginning to the end, and no problem. Not too many people can do that. So we're in an election. I think it's October 21st, and I guess so. I just can't hardly stand listening to them. I sort of got interested in this guy man by the name of Maxime Bernier from Quebec, who started a new party called the People's Party of Canada. He got edged out with the Conservative Party leadership deal, but his ideas are way more fit what I think by far than Conservative Party nowadays. Conservative Party is not the Reform Party anymore. It's Toronto Tory Party. It's just there's hardly any difference between them. And this leader they have, Scheer, he does not, instill confidence in me for sure. So I don't know how he's going to make out. I don't know who I'm going to vote for. If I'm going to vote for him or this People's Party candidate here. But I just hope that Justin Trudeau is taken out of there before he does more damage. The thing I've been thinking about and wanted to get off my chest today is I know that people do not consider when they support something, they don't consider that as being any calling on them, like they are not the same as the one they support. The one they support may be doing something that's not right or whatever, but because of different reasons, family reasons, whatever, we have to support them. And the trouble is, if people are doing things that is absolutely against God's will and God's laws, there's a big problem here. The God has said many times that as you think, that's the way you are, and God has said that if you hate somebody, really hate someone, he considers that the same thing as murder. If you lust after a woman who belongs to another man or whatever, He says that he's guilty of adultery. Never mind if you didn't do it anyway. Now, what I get to is this push now on everybody to accept gay lifestyle and everything that goes with it. And it is a lie. I know it's a lie. It is against God's will totally. And yet the people who support that, I'm positive that God considers them the same as the person who's doing it. Because they just they are, in a way. They're not active, but they're a supporter of it. Now here's the problem with that. Why that is so dangerous is that the person doing it won't do it unless he's already developed what's called a reprobate mind, which means he's developed a mind of no conscience, no remorse, no nothing. He's doing things he knew to start with was against God's law for sure and against God. But he did it because that's how powerful those kind of things can be. And the problem is, the way God explains it, is that he allows them to be taken over by a reprobate mind, which means they then have no conscience at all, no remorse, and never will ask for forgiveness. Because if they ask for forgiveness from God, he would forgive them. So, what he's saying is that when they do that, they condemn themselves. That means they are condemned to destruction, death and destruction, eventually, down the road. Now, what happens to the person who supports that? Do they then get to develop a reprobate mind, so-called reprobate mind, where their mind gets dulled and they have no remorse or no conscience, and as such, they will never consider anything that they have to ask for forgiveness. In other words, they develop hard-heartedness. You could call it that too. And if they do that, they're in the same boat as the gay person, homosexual, and they will be condemned. Now, is that a good idea? No. Why should they be condemned to destruction, death and destruction? They don't have to be, but it's political correctness and all this stuff gets into it. It's all perpetrated by satanic thinking and influence. But I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, God has predicted these things exactly what's happening. Exactly. He said what's going to happen, and that's the age we're living in now. It's the age he prophesied. Absolutely prophesied. Every bit of it. Every single bit we see today is prophesied in the Bible by God. And that's a sad thing to think that your own family who grew up children and developed and then that their life on earth is actually a waste of time because they're going to destroy themselves. So your family gets destroyed by this. There's a good example. My daughter and her husband got involved with two gay lesbians, and in the act of doing so, they invested a lot of money, and they were talked into it. Then, when the time came, these people pulled a buy-sell deal on them, which put them into a condition that they couldn't do it. They couldn't buy it and run it and all that. So they had to accept the buyout, and the buyout was less than they had invested. So they lost money. Now, for somebody to do that to you who is all friendly and visiting and friendly and oh my gosh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it sucked you in, and they can do this without any remorse. That proves they have a reprobate mind. Because anybody with real conscience or anything would not do that. It can only be people who have no conscience will do that. Now, I know that they are very upset about that, losing money like that by people that, well, they thought they could trust. And those people have infected their family. And I think that's one of the reasons their son became gay. He thought they looked at it as, well, we have these people over all the time, they're gay and they're this and that. I guess it's okay. Must be all right growing up with that. I think that had a lot to do with it. And also university, no end university, keep going and going and going. And that's university is ripe with homosexuality, homosexual. Just tons of that, I guess, which is sad. But the thing is, what I'm getting at is how many people really think about that? It's hard to do. It's hard to go against the idea that's popular at the time that you have to do this and that and this and that. But the consequences, or the people do not take into account the consequences, and I think it's because they have forgotten God. They didn't. My children didn't grow up with God very good. I wanted them to, and I tried a bit, but I couldn't get it going because my wife wouldn't support it. And I think, basically poo-pooed the whole idea, and the kids got that idea too, which is terribly sad. So, if they would have had a different attitude, that maybe this never would have happened. Because basically, right now, people are living from, like one trip to the next. Actually, they live for traveling and trips and stuff like that. And my wife's in a facility right now, and not good shape at all after a stroke and everything else. Not getting along well at all. Doesn't want me to visit her or anything like that. And my daughter, who was going up to see her and whatever else, just took off yesterday with my wife's sister to Vietnam for a month's holiday. So I guess she's in a facility, so there's nothing my daughter can really do about it. But it's not that good to be. Well, it shows that what's more important. My trips and holidays and my indulgences are my family. Yeah, it is. I can explain it away every way they like, but it's not good. So I mentioned a guy by the name of Derek Prince. In case you think about that, it's D-E-R-E, no, D-E-R-E-K, Prince, Derek, D-E-R-E-K. There's all kinds of on YouTube if you click on one of them, it'll just keep running one after another, after another, after another. And he preaches a good way. He he's not a I don't know what you call blood and thunder preacher or anything, but he's very, very British. He's very precise in what he speaks, which is kind of good because he's very easy to listen to and very easy to follow. And he has studied the Bible and studied stuff now for, well, when I'm watching him, he's in his 80s, and some of them are in his 70s. Like some of them would be earlier, 60s. Many, many videos. And things that people most likely want to know about. They want to know what it's all about. He has a pretty good grasp on it, and he's done a lot of, I don't know what you call it, driving out demons out of people and stuff. He claims he can do that. He's done it many, many times. And some of them have a lot more than one. Some of them have many different demons in them. And he can do it. I don't know how he does it, but he has the faith or something that can do it, and it happens. They actually come out. He calls them out in the name of Jesus, and when he does that, they have to come out. That's just amazing that the name of Jesus Christ is that powerful. Anyway, I think we better stop there. 17 minutes and 24 seconds. I guess that's good enough for tonight. Thank you very much.